I'm watching the alerts here, like, you know, we're running out of oxygen or something like that. What's it?
Pressure.
What's wrong with you, Greg? I watch the controls. You watch the sides of the wall.
No, you can't control it.
Oh.
So Affordable Space Adventures is a exclusive Wii U title. I think it was released to little fanfare, to be honest. It's been something I've had my eye on since the Eurogamer Expo.
Right.
And you play a little ship exploring some sort of, I'll say alien world, but I suppose it is an alien world, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. But the thing that makes Affordable Space Adventures really interesting is the way that it uses the Wii U controller. Now, the Wii U controller has its own screen, its own touch screen, and when you play it cooperatively, one player controls the sort of ship's systems, and another player controls the ship's movement, and I think when you've got a third player, they control something else. But I've never played it with a third player, so I don't know what they do. But the person who's controlling the systems on board the ship gets to look after things like the scanner, the sort of stabilization and thrust, turning things back on and turning them off again, and gets to monitor sort of heat levels, sound levels, and that was your job.
Yes.
Because I'd had a play with that myself at Eurogamer Expo, so I thought, well, I'll control the ship, and Joel can do the tough bit.
That's what we need to come through the other side for. Okay, got it. Oh, we could do a flare. Hang on, there's a red button down there.
Yeah, give me a little bit more thrust.
Okay.
See if we can deflect that sucker off a bit lower. No, that ain't bouncing. We got to do it on the other side.
Okay. Well, it's interesting. It did feel like I had a lot of work to do compared to you. I mean, not to say, maneuvering a ship is, not work, but generally that's usually the main thing you do in a game, right? You move around and that's what you're doing. But here,
yes,
your movement seemed fairly secondary. And that's not clear at the beginning. It takes a while for everything to start popping up and the systems coming online. But I did notice that just like when we started going towards the end of our session, it's like, I'm having to do a lot here.
What the? Oh, we've got to start the engine up again.
Oh, yeah, we have.
Yeah!
I'll get my scanner on, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was more a case of, in some cases, so for instance, you'll come across these sort of, like these drones, and some are very sensitive to heat, or very sensitive to, I don't know, later on, I guess, sound, electricity, and you have to make sure that your ship is configured so that it doesn't generate too much heat or is run on electricity, or but at the same time you're trying to make sure that the ship is stable enough, because there's a few instances where I was having to coast past these drones, but I was also having to make sure that I didn't hit sort of a laser beam at the same time. Now, if your ship's not very stable, it kind of wobbles around a lot.
He was a cheeky one, hiding at the bottom. Nice. I like the modem noises. Oh no! Whoa! We got a little bit close there. Okay. Very nice and steady. There we go. Nice.
So you were trying to increase the stabilisation enough, give me enough thrust that I could keep moving, but not too much that it would trigger the heat sensors on these drones. So there's a lot of juggling on your part, but at the same time, I think towards our play session we came across quite a few bits where it was getting quite hairy for me, because I was trying to navigate my little ship through these really tight spaces, and not to mention Joel got to use the tilting.
I had to tilt the Wii U, the actual game
controller,
so that you could angle correctly. You could only move. You couldn't rotate yourself, so I had to tilt it. Okay, tilt controller. Tilt the gamepad in order to control the pitch of the small craft. Huh? Me?
Okay.
Is that me?
Tilt it that way. There
There it
is.
Okay. And that's where you've got one of the things you can do is ramp up the stabilization so it doesn't wobble so much.
But then the reactor starts to burn out if you have that on too high.
So I have to turn it up, and then we have to go through this very small small passageway, and I'm ramp up the stabilization because it's getting if you get off just a little bit, you might flick up trigger a drone.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm watching the reactor.
Yeah, you're watching the tilt and the reactor, and I'm just like, using the thumbstick to gently.
And you go, oh, this is so smooth. Yeah, I know, Greg. No, I know. That's because
the reactor's going. The reactor's going.
Why have we got black smoke?
I think it's always had black smoke.
No, it has not.
Maybe the thrusting needs turning down a touch.
It's not that black smoke.
So I thought Affordable Space and Adventures is a really great use of the pad. I think as far as I know, it's one of the few games that uses a lot of its elements, and it uses it in quite a creative and inventive way.
Yeah, I haven't heard too much about which games use the Wii U in all its glory. I know Zombie, but I'm not sure about any other games that have really come up.
Yeah, I mean, I've not played that many games on the Wii U, but I've read enough about them, and most games tend to use them in typical controller fashion. But the other thing that I liked about Affordable Space Adventures was there was like a nice sense of humour about the game.
But it is genuine co-op. I think this is a genuine co-op game. You can play single player, but I don't think that's where its glory is. It's meant to be at least 2 players, I think.
There's that element of sort of, you're sort of telling the other person I'm gonna need him. I'm gonna need stabilization here.
Yeah.
And knock the thrust down because it's going to generate too much heat. So the engineers frantically configuring the system. I mean, at the beginning of the game, all that's quite laid back. I'd love to know if it gets more frantic later on, because I could imagine that still being quite fun. Because when things did go wrong, it was quite amusing.
It was. I'm not sure if a third player would be absolutely vital. Yeah. I remember it was something to do. Maybe they control the
navigation. It mentioned
the flashlight or something.
Yeah, I was the pilot. You were the engineer, and they would have been the navigator.
Yeah. So I'm not sure how if it really had enough complexity to stretch to 3 people. But we didn't play that, so we don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's genuine co-op. But it's interesting. It's a lot of co-op games tend to be. Games you can play again and again, a bit like sports games. You can play them again. And again. But this isn't. This is like a game which is the kind of thing you play once and probably won't play again.
Yeah, it's heavily authored, isn't it? You're sort of going to bump into the same things every time you play it. So I don't imagine that it's got much replayability, but it's unique. So
nothing down there. What?
What's that?
What
was that all about? But it's very reminiscent of other games like Space Team, which I think is iPhone, where you have multiple players all working on a ship together, where they got a crisis, got to get out of it, and there are other games which are like the Starship simulators and things like that. Artemis, that's right, where you all have to work together. But those things are actually more difficult to put together because I think Artemis needs like a proper set of, I think it's multiple PCs or something.
Yeah, I think it is.
And also you've got, and you need exactly 4 people, I think, for that. And also you've got with Space Team, everyone needs to have an iPhone,
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Whereas this, one person has the Wii U console.
And that's it.
You're set up.
Yeah, and if you've got the controllers from the Wii, if you've still got that dusty thing lying around, you can use the controllers from that as well. The nunchuck and the Wii remote. That's all you need. You need the main controller for the Wii U, nunchuck, and the Wii remote, and that's it. You're flying. You've got 2 of you that can play.
I'm just very sad that I won't be able to see any more of
the
game. So, Greg,
sorry.
It was good fun while it lasted.
Wedge it into the rock. That's how you stabilise it.
Sorry, Greg, but I'm quite pleased with your efforts.